But before we get into any wrestling this week, Skeener, how you doing, brother? Here we go.
Doing pretty good.
Here we go.
Pretty good.
Well, that definitely made the intro. That definitely made the intro to the show this week. So congratulations, sir. You've booked your way into that. Welcome to the Lariat Lounge. This is the home of smart takes, hard hits, and real talk. I'm your host, Everson Godfrey, co-host Andrew Skeens. Skeener, this was, in my opinion, a beautiful week of wrestling. I thoroughly enjoyed everything we got, and the John Cena The Last Time Is Now tournament is delivering for me in a way that feels kind of like the Royal Rumble with the special entrance and the pomp and circumstances around this, not necessarily in the show's presentation, but definitely in the stakes that are here, because they're definitely ramping this thing up. Like, the stakes of challenging John Cena is going to be absolutely huge. Whether or not he's going to be Intercontinental Champion by the time we get to the end of this tournament is anybody's guess. My money is on ex-con Dom, but we'll see how it go. But before we get into any wrestling this week, Skeener, how you doing, brother? Here we go.
Doing pretty good.
Here we go. Pretty
good.
I guess that was an indicator of how good you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Well, that definitely made the intro. That definitely made the intro to the show this week. So congratulations, sir. Yeah. You have booked your way into that.
There we go.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing well, Mr. Lesnar. So we got a great show for you tonight. A lot of great stuff to talk about. Some returns that we're definitely going to get into, because some of these returns I didn't particularly see coming and I thoroughly enjoyed. And some of these returns that happened, I enjoyed it, but I kind of think that WWE fumbled a bit. Yeah, but we'll get into that. But if you're new here, let's say you and your friends were out on the town, y'all were having some drinks, right? You got totally blitzed, right? You got in the back seat of somebody else's car, and they just showed up at this really posh spot called the Lariat Lounge, right? And at the end of the night, you're like, hey, I love this place, but I don't know how to get back here. Skeener, can you please let these drunk people know how to find their way back here?
If you want to make your way back here and you're not quite sure how, you're listening to the Lariat Lounge. We are coming at you once a week, every week, in podcast format on all your favorite platforms: Apple Podcasts, iTunes, not iTunes. Second time in a row I've said that. Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. iTunes will live forever in my heart. I guess it's just too big a part of my childhood.
Probably.
But we're also over on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge Podcast. And you feel free to send us an email. Tell us what you think about the customer service here at the lounge at thelariatlounge@gmail.com.
You know, there's another way you guys can tell us how you feel about the service here. You can leave us a like rating wherever it is that you're listening to this podcast. We were recently ranked 196 in pro wrestling podcasts in North America. So if it's any indication, the service here is mildly great on the scale of 1 to 200. But we're doing our best to give you the best show that we can. So give us a like rating wherever it is that you're listening. It's a small thing for you. It's free. But for us, it means a ton. So we really do appreciate it. But hey, as you've gotten used to, if you are a regular here, enough with the fluff. Let's get to the stuff. Skeener, where do I begin, sir? I thought that this week of wrestling was absolutely great. Like I said, it's no short of lending the applause to where I think it actually deserves to be, which is the John Cena The Last Time Is Now tournament. I think they are just doing a really great job at setting this up to feel like a big deal. But they're also doing some other things as well, too. They're building up their War Games teams, and they're taking a lot of steps here to make this probably one of the more star-studded War Games matches, at least for the men, for sure. And listen, they're not slouching on the women's side either. But they're definitely setting things up for this to be a really fun Survivor Series. Not to mention, we also got a Intercontinental Championship match that has been announced for Survivor Series. There's a lot going on, man. But I guess where would you like to start? What was most interesting to you this week so far?
I mean, we had another U.S. Open challenge.
We
That
did.
was groundbreaking. You've never seen anything like that, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, not even joking. I agree. Like that, Ilya Dragunov and Axiom. Listen? Let me just go ahead and just jump the shark a little bit here, okay? That
With a
freaking
U.S. Open challenge, jump the shark? No way.
dude. Listen, that freaking DDT that Axiom delivered to Ilya Dragunov looked nuts. I mean, holy smokes. Like, to drop that dude right on the top of his head and then for Ilya to crumple the way he did. I mean, listen, there are some times when you can definitely tell that the announcers themselves are also stunned at what they just saw. And they definitely, what was it, Corey Graves and Michael Cole? They definitely were reacting to that like they had never seen a DDT that looked so vicious in their lives until they saw that one. I thought that DDT was freaking phenomenal. If I had the wherewithal to stand up, I would have stood up for that. But in light of the fact that, these open challenges, we've been reasonably criticizing them just because we felt like this was maybe not the best direction that they should have taken Dragunov in. These matches, the quality of them have not been bad. And I honestly, truly feel, Skeener, that this was probably my favorite match of Ilya's run with the title and these open challenges, just because of the sheer fact that like this match was really great. Both the combatants here are really great. And if this was your first time witnessing Axiom, well, thank WWE and you're welcome, because Axiom is freaking awesome and he should get more credit, and his mask is freaking dope.
You're probably right. And the way you just said that there at the end kind of softens me on it. I mean, again, first of all, I didn't have to change my mind. I knew this was an absolutely excellent match. It's just our thing that we've been on is, what does this do story-wise and character-wise for anyone involved every week? But there is probably someone out there that had never watched SmackDown or had not watched much or was there in the arena for the first time, and that was the first time they saw Ilya Dragunov or saw Axiom, and I'm sure, maybe, that's kind of like a good entry point, I guess, that someone uninitiated would see that and go, wow, I got to see more of these guys. I guess I'm coming at it from a more spoiled state in that, like, I know these guys can put on a great match. Give me some meat behind it. But it's not bad. It's just not, again, not what I wanted, but maybe we're getting there. But again, great match. It's just I'm waiting for when they do something a little beefier with Dragunov as a character.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Dude is strong though.
Yeah,
For
he
like
is.
relative to his size, he's a very strong man. I've seen him doing seen on social media clips of his workouts, and he does them. Obviously, he does some very different stuff,
Yeah.
and in turn, he is a very different athlete, which is good in wrestling.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of his workout
Dude's an
videos.
animal.
I mean, listen, he looks like it. Physically, he looks like it. And I mean, listen, Ilya Dragunov is certainly no slouch in that department either. And I look, I think everything you said is valid. I think that, this was not necessarily my cup of tea either, but we talked about that at length, that maybe WWE could have gone in a slightly different direction with Dragunov. But listen, if this is the direction that you chose and this is the direction that you're going to stay in, this is what you need to do in order to make this pay off, is to give us matches that matter in the way that you're trying to make them matter. I should have put my phone on silent because somebody's blowing me up right now.
No, that's me sending you Ilya
Oh,
Dragunov workout videos.
oh, okay. Oh, wait, so you were talking about Ilya Dragon? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you meant Axiom. But yeah, no, I believe
Oh,
that.
I'm sure Axiom's in the gym too. But
Oh
no,
yeah,
Ilya, I think WWE may have even put it out, but like he drops from completely standing to a backbend neck bridge and he flips his feet over. It's just kind of crazy.
that makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because you have to really train your body in order to bump the way that some of these athletes bump, right? Every wrestler learns how to bump. Even the ones who don't bump the best, right? They all learn how to bump, and they all have to be proficient at it in order to A, do the job, B, to sell the job, and C, to not destroy themselves while doing the job. But there are definitely some people who are masters at bumping. And I think that after you see that DDT that Axiom delivers to Dragonov, it makes perfect sense when you tell me that like he does this from a fully standing position to falling back into a back, what is that, back bend on his
Like a
head.
bit, like a yeah, he falls into like a bridge almost on his neck, and then he flips his feet like he does like a backflip over his, you know, feet overhead with
Yeah.
like his neck as the balance point, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty insane, right? But then you see the DDT that he took, right? And now it makes sense why sure he could take a DDT like that and not totally destroy himself, because he trains like this all the time. And that is just a marvel of human physicality that look, it's stuff like that. And I'm gonna watch that video when we get off air, but it's stuff like that I always kind of thought about professional wrestlers and how they train their bodies to do the things that they do, that always rubbed me the wrong way when somebody who's not a wrestling fan would talk about wrestling like these people aren't athletes. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, for sure.
these
Yeah.
people aren't athletic. They're not athletes. They're not really fighting. It's like, okay, look, first loser, they're not. We know they're not fighting. Okay, let's go ahead and eliminate that 1983 talking point off the board. The second thing, these people are absolutely athletes at the peak physical condition to do what it is that they do, right? And they do it well. I wouldn't expect them to go and step into a different sport and compete at the level that these other athletes who have maybe trained their whole lives to do, play football or basketball or MMA or hockey or baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't expect them to do these things. And at the same time, how many times have we seen a basketball player or a football player make a guest appearance in professional
Monday,
wrestling? Right? Huh?
Monday, we got some giants involved at ringside.
Oh yeah, we did. We did. I mean, listen, and to their credit, they did what it is that they were, told to do. And listen, as a wrestling fan, this is no knock to them, but none of that action that they provided there was up to snuff with what WWE puts on day in and day out every week. And it's not, I don't
Their
expect them
working
to.
punches weren't great.
Right. I don't expect them to look great. You know what I mean? Because they're not professional wrestlers. You know what I mean? They're not professional wrestlers. But I don't judge them on a professional wrestling scale. I judge them on a football scale. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm sure they play football really well. Um, and I wouldn't expect Dragonov, or I wouldn't expect Axiom, or who did the Giants get in a tussle with? Was it the Judgment
I
Day?
think JD in the Judgment Day,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was the
after the
Judgment
match.
Day, right? I wouldn't
I think it
expect the
was
Judgment
JD
Day.
that threw the first punch.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't expect the Judgment Day to show up at a training camp at, the Giant Stadium and, do exceedingly well in all exercises because they're not football players. But back to this match though.
You know who could?
Who that? You know what? You're not making intro twice. You're not making intro
No, but
twice.
that was too apropos.
Fair,
That's the
fair.
last time, and I won't overdo it. But that one was
You know what?
that one was set
I
up
will
too
say
well.
this. Oh, hold on. Let me ask you before we move on. How are you doing that? Like, are you just playing it through your computer and the mic's picking it up?
No, I added it to the Discord soundboard. You can go in the
Oh,
server settings and add things to the soundboard.
yeah, that's true. I'm gonna have to do that next time because I don't have
So
anything to throw back.
as soon as I saw him come out on Monday, that was my first order of business was to add it to the soundboard.
Oh, so you were plotting this. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
It just
I,
came to me.
sure it did.
It
I
just
will.
came to me.
I thoroughly believe you, Skeeter. Um, I will say this. This was one of those instances where I was not upset to see Brock because I figured he was going to be coming out, right? Like
Yeah, once I realized they had another team member,
yeah,
it made sense. And it kind of made me sad that I'm like, and Seth's hurt. So they actually were going somewhere with all the stuff they set up and the Seth and Brock stuff.
yeah,
And we just don't get it because he's hurt, unfortunately. But it's the way the cookie crumbles. It's still, like you said, it's going to be a very star-studded affair with him
yeah.
involved.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, and it does kind of suck that Seth's not going to be a part of that because this is setting up to be pretty huge. But like I was saying, like I didn't. This was the one instance where I wasn't bothered by Brock's role in this because it seemed pretty obvious when Paul showed up. This was on Raw, and he was backstage with the GMs. And he said, "Wait till you see who I've got next." I was like, "Okay, who could it possibly be?" Right? And I just thought through who it is that could possibly be brought in as a a secret member of this team, right? The secret fifth person. And yeah, I don't know. I thought through everybody who it could possibly be, and the only one that really landed was Lesnar. I was like, well, it's got to be Lesnar because I know who the last person is going to be on the good guys team. It's going to be Roman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's got to be Brock. And then I thought to myself, you know what? This is all the people in the WrestleMania poker promos. And so I was like, okay, it's got to be Brock and it's got to be Roman. Cause you know what I mean? Because we've already got Punk there and we've already got Cody there. So yeah, it's gonna be Brock and it's gonna be Roman. And so when he came out, I didn't feel bad about that. In fact, I was like, okay, I see we're going somewhere now. So I'm okay with it.
So for everyone that doesn't know what we are talking about, if you are getting your recaps from this show, I'll do it pretty quickly. Monday we had the War Games face to face on the men's side. So Paul Heyman comes out with the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, and the newly minted Drew McIntyre, which we learned on Friday, which I'm sure we'll get to that too, because that was a swing and a miss by the dirt sheets for Drew McIntyre being written off TV. And
to go film Highlander.
He's back in 1 week, yeah. But so yeah, heel team comes out. Then we've got our known baby faces come out, which is CM Punk, Jay and Jimmy, the Usos, and Cody comes out, and everyone gets the scrapping 4-on-4 and an even affair. And then the fifth member of Team Vision, Team Heyman, whatever we want to call it, arrives, and it is the Beast Brock Lesnar. His secret weapon that he called in. And then, we get a little face off with Punk, and Brock's cleaning house, and Triple H does his favorite. He hits the little credits bug.
Yep.
And just as that happens, we get the OTC's theme, and he is revealed. Our tribal chief comes back, the conquering hero, and is revealed as the fifth member of our heroic team for War Games. So it is going to be like we said, a star-studded affair. Obviously, Lesnar's first War Games, which is going to be fun. Anytime you put an athlete like that in a new environment in WWE, we are going to see things we've probably never seen before. So I'm excited for that.
I tell you what, we're not going to see. We're not going to see Lesnar coming off of any cages. In fact, I think the only thing we're really going to get
Probably
from
not.
Lesnar is possibly two things. And you can put these on your bingo card, and we can see how many of these things come true if you're listening. I think Lesnar is going to do a German suplex from one ring into the other. And I think that he's going to do a German suplex to somebody into the cage. I think it's probably the most
Can
we're going
see
to
that.
get from Brock. I'm not ragging. I'm just saying, like, you're putting him in this new environment, as you so eloquently put. I'm like, we're just going to get Brock throwing people from one ring to the other, which will be an interesting thing to see for sure. What is up with Roman in his sleeve though?
Yeah, I don't know. The shooter sleeve?
Yeah, I saw that
I
and I
mean,
was
I've got
like,
to, that's a thing again, I guess. I'm gonna have to go buy one. If, like, I
listen,
didn't know it was a thing, but
I
if
don't
we're
think it
going back
is.
to it,
I don't think it
ah,
is. I
my
don't
eyes
think
would
it
tell me
is.
otherwise.
What, because he had it on?
Yeah,
Listen, if there is a Roman Reigns branded one on WWE Shop, then maybe. But I'm wondering, like, if he's gotten some tattoo work, maybe he's
maybe something
protecting.
like
You know what
that.
I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it doesn't make a lot of sense
I
otherwise.
was wondering the same thing, but that makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense otherwise. Like, I would think if he's got some tattoo work done, maybe he's got it wrapped. You know what I'm saying? He's got it wrapped underneath, and then he's got that sleeve over it to A, protect it, B, to not give away the fact that he just got tattoo work and is fresh. But
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's weird. That's a choice because I thought we weren't still doing that. But
I mean, I was all in to bring it back. If Tribal Chief says that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing.
listen. He was trying stuff here. Maybe then he's trying that sleeve. Them pants was kind of baggy on the ends. Like I was like you know what he looked like? He looked like when The Rock back in the day was going through that phase. You remember that phase that The Rock was in where he only wrestled in like a shirt and pants?
I don't think. I mean, maybe like the Adidas sweatpants. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
like that. He went through a whole
Yeah,
phase
kind of.
where it's like
Yeah,
he only wrestled in those pants and that black athletic
yeah,
short sleeve shirt.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I do know what you're talking about then.
I swear, dude, to this day, I do not understand why The Rock was wrestling in that getup. It made no sense. I don't understand it now, just like I didn't understand it then. But yeah, Roman had the sleeve on. That was the first thing I noticed, and I was like, okay, what's happening here? But I mean, he's same old Roman. He's throwing Superman punches and didn't I think he speared? Yeah, he speared Bronson Reed and the NYPD through the barricade.
Yeah,
Um,
that was off the air, that's what I was gonna say is the brawl continued off the air, and it was pretty great.
yeah, I mean, listen, I hope
So if
that
you haven't seen that, go seek that out. I'm sure
yeah,
WWE's
seek
got
it
it up
out.
on all their socials.
Seek it out because I would like to believe that Roman, unless he's got some good lawyers, which I'm sure he does, he might be in lockup right now because that's
I
definitely
mean,
assaulting
Cody.
an officer.
I mean, Cody. I think took a kendo stick to 4 or 5 officers.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like WWE cannot condone this type of behavior. You
Well, that's why it
cannot.
wasn't on Netflix.
Yeah, even though I watched it on Netflix.
Oh, you saw it on
Yeah,
Netflix?
I saw it on Netflix.
I thought that was all post-show stuff.
No, listen, Triple A throws that little bug up there, but that don't mean the show's over. Like I sat there and watched that whole thing. I saw Roman spear Bronson Reed and at least one quote unquote NYPD officer through the barricade. Which listen, we all know those weren't actually cops, but
Okay, yeah, I think that was on the show. The Cody stuff wasn't, I don't think.
oh yeah, maybe I didn't see it. I didn't see that part.
You're right. I think it went off the air like just after he did that spear.
Yes, he was getting up from that pile when the show went off the air. Listen, great angle. I think the War Games match is, at least the men's, has already kind of shaped itself up to be exactly what it's going to be. The women's War Games match, are we? I think we're getting AJ Lee on one of these teams,
Well,
on Rhea's team.
I would hope.
I think
I mean,
so. I mean,
what else do we take? Didn't she say she was?
no, Rhea came to her backstage after. Oh, well, hold on. Time out. Before we get to that, in order for me to get to that, I have to tell you the thing that had me the most excited on Raw.
Okay.
Maxine Dupree
Yes.
is your new women's intercontinental champion. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. And I could not be more thrilled and happy that WWE decided to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? Like it's to me it's rare when WWE has something that is such a commodity while they're making it. They've been actively making this Maxine Dupree Becky Lynch thing into something. And the crowd has been getting behind Maxine because she is the quintessential underdog, right? She's clearly not the best wrestler in the ring, but she's improving, right? She's clearly not the most fleshed out character, but she's growing. She's clearly not the fan favorite, but the fans love her. And you see this progression, and it's like sometimes it's really good, WWE, when you just give us what we want. And the fans just wanted this because sometimes feel good stories are great to have. And it was great to see Maxine come out here and have Becky Lynch, who, by the way, was so obnoxious the entire time. I mean, like, Maxine can't even get her championship match intro done without Becky 2 inches away from her face, talking trash the entire time. I think that this is a great opportunity for Maxine, but I think this also is probably some of the best beats of character development for Becky that we've had in quite some time. You know what I mean? Like this whole thing with her starting with AJ Lee, actually the Maxine stuff started before AJ came back. And so this whole arc
Yes, I
with
believe
her
so,
and
yeah.
Maxine has just been such great character work for Becky Lynch and just showing how dynamic she can be within certain aspects of her range, right? And Becky nowadays has a ton of range with what she can do with her character. But how dynamic she can get when she is this not want to say deranged, that's not the right word, but maybe delusional. She is a delusional heel, and she has repeatedly, particularly with regards to Maxine, got in her own way time after time after time, right? You look back at this whole feud, and technically speaking, Maxine swept the feud. She won every match.
She did. 3-0.
3-0 against Becky Lynch, and the third time was for the title. Like, and honestly, Maxine did a great job, and the story shows that, right? But the story also shows how Becky was her own worst enemy every step of the way, and she cost herself every single time she lost a match, whether it was gloating outside the ring against the fans and she gets counted out, or whether she gets herself DQ'd, right? Or in this instant, she's wrestling a match, and according to the wrestling rule book, when somebody enters the stadium and is during your match, you are obligated to pay full attention to them and not pay attention to what is happening in the ring. And you ended up losing the match. I am so happy that Maxine is a champion. That is just something great to talk about. Skeener, your thoughts on this whole feud with our new Women's Intercontinental Champion and Becky Lynch in general, and how she's kind of carried herself in this entire feud.
To be fair, in that first match, Becky was victimized by old fast count car, as Wade would call her. So
she
I
did that
don't
to herself
entirely
too.
blame her for this.
She did that to herself too.
Seemed a little vindictive by old fast count there.
But where did that start? Where did that start?
Yeah. Okay.
That started with Becky berating her the first time.
Yes. But as an official, you should be above such petty childish grudges. I would think.
Wishes were fishes, sir. We'd all be well fed.
But yeah, the feud has been great. It's a great moment to see Maxine win. The finish makes total sense in bringing AJ Lee back. I didn't expect that at all until her music hit. And then it's again one of those moments where you're like, oh, I didn't expect this, but this makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think WWE sometimes is really good at, in a way, they know exactly when to bring people back after holding them off. Like, the first few weeks after AJ Lee disappeared again, we were on the show asking, Where's AJ Lee when she's going to come back? And then they wait just a long enough that like we stop thinking about it and it goes out of mind. And then
Yeah.
bang, it's back. Which kind of, same thing with Brock, honestly. We had just stopped kind of talking about that and then oh, here it is. But yeah, this was great. Happy to see that we're seemingly getting the AJ Lee Becky rivalry and in a solo capacity that's going to come from that. And yeah, I mean, it was just great. It's Maxine's been a really good story. I've been a fan of her, just even on the human level of what was it, a couple years ago, she had that match and it did not go well, and people on the internet were not being the nicest about it as they are prone to do. And just to see where she's come from there to now and getting that huge moment and beating probably the greatest women's superstar of all time for a title, like that's huge in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Just yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I think we've got a new star we've created. So we'll see where they go, but I'm excited about everything that happened and where it's all going.
Oh, I agree, dude. And listen, we said this like a week or so ago. There are just some people who get it. And Maxine is one of those people who just gets it. She gets her character and she knows how to do professional wrestling. With regard to like the entertainment side of things, right? And she's getting better in the ring every time we see her. So I agree. It is lovely to see WWE show that they have an eye for what is going to be successful here, and that sometimes it doesn't always align with what some of the internet trolls feel is, the best course of action here. Maxine I think she's deserving of this, and I think it's good. I think it's good that these titles like the Intercontinental Championship, like the United States Championship, let these titles move around a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to have everyone with these 100, 200, 300, 500-day title reigns. Like, it's not necessary. You know what I mean? It's not necessary to do that. And particularly when it comes to these secondary titles, the IC and the US title, man, listen, I don't necessarily want to have hot potato play with these things, but definitely, I think Becky held the title for quite a while, and she's made some prominence with it and added a little bit of prominence to it. And now it's time to hand it over to someone else. And I think that this was a great opportunity to do it. Maxine is as popular as she's ever been, and it just opens the door for some more people to interact with Maxine, for her to get some more exposure. And Becky is a made woman. She loses nothing from losing this match. And she does her character work so freaking well, man, that it's like she makes...
Yeah, the way she reacted after losing, just completely incredulous and beside herself, and the way she's crawling around the ring and her facial expressions, that's just top tier stuff too.
Absolutely. I think it's a masterclass in how professional wrestlers should conduct themselves in a match, which is total hysterics when they lose a championship. And not saying that everybody should be hysterical, but what I mean is know your character and sink deeply into it. And that's what Becky does really, really well. She knows her character. She knows how to play her character, and she does it really, really well. And I think it's a masterclass in how character work is done, and how you have this champion who, for all intents and purposes, within the confines of this feud, should be unbeatable. You know what I mean? She should be unbeatable. But every step of the way, she self-sabotaged. Whether it was getting on the bad side of the refs, and whether the refs should have acted that way or not, I agree. But it happened the way it happened because Becky would not stop berating her all the time, right? And then we talked about the 3 losses that she took to Maxine as a result of her own actions. So even if Becky were to, obviously the character wise, were to say that Maxine is not an incredible champion compared to her, it's only self-incriminating. You know what I mean? Because if she's not credible, if she's not that big of a threat, you lost to her because you destroyed you. And it's just a great story. And not every story that we get in wrestling we can talk about like this. This is why I love it, because I think Maxine is great. Becky is obviously great. Love me some AJ Lee. And the fact that this story has got me talking about how you tell good stories. This is what this podcast was made for, folks. If you enjoy great storytelling in this thing we love called professional wrestling, this is the place for you because we too love storytelling here. And that's why I love this. I love this. But we got into all of this because AJ Lee is probably going to be the 5th member of Rhea Ripley's War Games team, which seems kind of weird calling it Rhea Ripley's War Games team because she was a late addition, but she should be joining.
She's been presented as like the face of the team, so it's Team Rhea Ripley as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, we can't call it like Team Good Guys. I mean, we could call it Team Good Guys, but yeah, back in the day, the Survivor Series teams used to have names.
Yeah, they had like full-fledged names.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they should bring that back.
Yeah, get some creative names going. Let Dragon Lee name them all.
I was literally about to say, don't let Dragon Lee name them because don't let that guy do it. But you guys have come up with something. But listen, AJ Lee is likely going to be on that team with Rhea, Io, Charlotte, and Alexa. So that makes 5. Who do you think we get on the other women's team? We've already got Nia. We've got Lash Legend. We've got the Kabuki Warriors. And they were trying to recruit Bailey. And Bailey pretty much said,
yeah,
go F
so
off.
I guess not Bailey. I thought for a second there after Friday that it may have been Charlotte, but obviously not Charlotte.
No, obviously not Charlotte.
I think we're still not sure she's on the good guy team either. So
who, Charlotte?
I don't know. I'm intrigued. Yeah.
Listen, I'll say this. Either way you slice that cake, it's going to be interesting to watch, right? I think you're probably going to get Charlotte on the good guys team just because of the hug sesh that she and Alexa had, which by the way, was it not hilarious? I mean,
yes. Are you talking about how they caught Charlotte corpsing?
No, what? No.
Yeah. So yeah, so let's say we're going to have to go through the whole thing to get there. So on SmackDown, we open up SmackDown Friday with Alexa Bliss is all in on being Team Rhea Ripley for War Games here. And Charlotte ends up, Charlotte says that she can't trust Rhea and she thinks Rhea's a snake, and Charlotte walks out. So we don't know where Charlotte stands with that team, and honestly with Alexa, because she's not with Alexa later in the night on Friday when they get attacked by the heel team, which was a great and fun segment to see the Kabuki Warriors and Nia and Lash and just showing their personality in that. But I'll get back to it. We get to Monday, and the heels are again attacking our 3 faces, Alexa, Io, and Rhea, and Charlotte comes out to make the save. And at the end, we get Charlotte and Alexa doing their best friend hug in the corner to see that everything is all good. And in what I can only assume is an unscripted moment, Io goes in for a similar hug with Rhea, and they catch, right at the beginning, they catch Charlotte looking at it, and she just very demonstrably is like genuinely laughing at it.
Yes.
And that's what I was talking about, yeah.
Yes, so. That's what I saw. Listen, that was so funny. Like, the way Io is great. Like, she is great. She does things sometimes that are just like genuinely funny, and they're not intended to be funny, but she just does it in this weird, like, in my mind, I always look at it like she does like these weird, like, cutesy anime things. And
yeah,
it just, why did you hug Rhea like that? Like, that was so, it almost looked to me like Rhea was not expecting that hug either. Yeah. And she's like,
well, almost like, well, if you are gonna hug like that, we'll hug like that. And yeah, it seemed to Charlotte got a kick out of that.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. And so I think because of that, I think Charlotte is going to be on their team. And then I think you get
Probably, but we do not have confirmation yet, but I would say probably.
listen, if Charlotte had a hug sesh with Alexa like that, and then it got reciprocated by Io and Rhea doing one better with their hug. If Charlotte says no after all of that, listen, you better join the heel team and go straight up heel because you cannot destroy a heartwarming moment like that and not be a heel. So I think my personal thought is that I think Charlotte's with them. I think the hug sesh was confirmation enough. And listen, they probably announced it on social media somewhere because that's how they do. But I think they're going to get AJ Lee as the fifth member of that team. So who could possibly be the fifth member of the Bad Girls team?
I mean, if it's AJ, it's got to be Becky then, right?
Well, actually, you're right. Becky ain't doing nothing. She ain't got the title no more. That makes perfect sense. This is going to be a star-studded women's game match too.
Yeah, we've got one more person to join the team of Nia Jax, Lash Legend, and the Kabuki Warriors. And then one more to join the faces, if we consider Charlotte a part of the team, and that's Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, and probably Charlotte Flair. So that is the current card as it stands. Officially, Charlotte is not a member listed as of right now.
Yeah, but we know she's going to be on that team. Listen, if Charlotte's not on that team, I definitely feel like we are missing a golden opportunity here because they've laid all the groundwork for this to be the thing that they're going to do. And if they decide not to do that after they've already set up that they're going to do that, it just seems like it's a bad booking decision if you ask me. But I mean, who am I?
So
I'm not in the right
the
room.
only thing for me is that kind of leaves Bayley and Lyra out in the cold a little bit.
Yeah, but what were they doing? They were always their third leg in their own tag team feud.
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember we were talking about that on the show at one point, right? That like Becky and Lyra were the third wheel in this tag team turmoil thing between the Kabuki Warriors and Charlotte and Bliss.
Well, I think this women's stuff, or the women's war games and all the teams surrounding it, this is kind of a victim of the calendar, so to speak, in that they had to do this war games match, and it just doesn't make as much sense as it does for the men's combatants at this point. So, they're trying to kind of throw these teams together, and someone's going to get left out, and some people are going to get thrown in when it's kind of doesn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Like if AJ and Becky end up in there, like I get it, it makes sense for the match, but like in the story, they're not really involved with any of these people.
Yeah. I mean, this is true, but then again, right? Brock.
Granted, they have long history.
Well,
true, but Brock was at least involved because we had the interaction with Paul and him backstage, and
Seth.
we were talking about it. Yeah, Seth. So he did make sense if Seth isn't injured, and I think we've kind of accepted that Logan Paul is playing the part of Seth Rollins for now. So again, disappointed we don't get to see how Seth would have reacted to that, but
right,
it is what it is.
I can imagine this would have been a Heyman decision that Seth either did not know about, or one that Seth was definitely playing up as some sort of master stroke that he had engineered. But sad to see that Seth's not going to be a part of this match. But it is what it is, man.
I mean, yeah, man. I just I don't want to mourn it too long, but throwing Brock in there on sides with and opposing Seth, Roman, Cody, Punk, all these people he has deep history with. I think we could have gotten a lot of mileage there. But
for sure.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, that is. It's not worth belaboring the point, but I hear you 1000%, dude. Like this was going to be such a great storytelling beat for Seth, particularly, and the fact that he is out injured is, that sucks. But
Yeah,
listen,
that he didn't get to see all this Vision stuff through to its conclusion.
yeah, that definitely sucks. Yeah, I don't think he should attempt a coast to coast headbutt again. I get the logic, but the execution is where we ran into a problem. And so, maybe somebody needs to tell him backstage to not try that one again.
Shooting star off the cage
That's not a
for
smart one
Brock.
either. Listen, no, Brock's not. First of all, he ain't doing that.
You
You know
think he
what?
did? He tried his one shooting star.
If Brock goes up to the top of that cage and does a shooting star press, I will change my tune on Brock. If you waited this long to pull that out again, and at your age you go up there and you execute it flawlessly, I will take back a decent portion of my criticism of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
Straight up.
I don't think that's going to happen, but
And me either. That's why I'm saying it. Like, I think it's a safe bet. But,
someone can do it on 2K25.
oh yeah, listen, you can change movesets all day. You can change moveset all day. You can give Brock Lesnar Rey Mysterio's moveset, and then he can join into what the 510, what the 15, no, the 30 beats of the Baldwin that happened
30
on
beats of Baldwin and the 15 knuckle shuffle.
the
Yes.
15 knuckle. Listen, I heard somebody say it the other day, and I did not catch this until just now. So obviously, back in the day, John Cena, when he came up with the Doctor of Thugonomics, right? All of his moves, his 5 moves of doom, were developed then, right? And since then, he's become the soldier, and then he's become the colorful hero, and now he's just John Cena, right? But all of his moves have pretty much stuck. Now, only one of them, the name has changed, right? Which is the attitude adjustment. That used to be the FU.
And we lost a U from the STFU.
Oh yes, and then you lost the U from the STFU, right?
Yeah.
But all of these things were I don't want to say derogatory, but they were plays on edginess within the naming convention of his moves, right? I did not realize.
Are you going to explain for our listeners about 5 knuckle shuffle?
I just realized that. I literally just realized
Google
that
it, kids.
yesterday.
Google it.
Well, yeah, you know what? Do that. Do this for your parents, kids. Google 5 knuckle shuffle and show it to your parents. They're probably not going to let you listen to this podcast anymore. But just for S's and G's, go for it. Straight up though, I did not know that until like yesterday. And I was like,
I didn't know originally, like when I was a kid, but at some point, like early 2010s, I saw it somewhere on the internet, I would say.
Yeah.
That's what that meant.
Yeah, dude, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, yo, how have I been watching Cena for this long and did not realize that every time he does this move, we're making masturbation euphemisms. And
they're just saying it on TV, and probably everyone in England is laughing their butts off.
It was an English thing?
I believe it's a British thing, yes.
Okay. Yeah, they probably are. They probably are just laughing like, or either that or they're like me because they use the term all the time. And so maybe they're just like, of course we knew what it meant. Like, you didn't know? Huh. Okay. Because I swear, dude, I heard somebody commentating on it yesterday and they were just like, it's crazy that in 2025 we're still doing masturbation euphemisms. I said, what masturbation? Oh, 5 knuckle shuffle. Got it. Dang, I'm late to this party. But yeah. We got
better late than never. You got one more time.
Yeah,
I'm glad you figured it out before the last one.
Apparently, the last time. Well, actually, the last time is his last match is Saturday Night's Main Event. But we got another match. He's having a one-on-one match against Dom.
You're right. How did I forget that?
Because
we've been talking, and we kind of when that happened, maybe we were out of the loop, but that was like a pleasant surprise because I didn't think he was going to wrestle at Survivor Series. But hey, I get one more John Cena match. He gets to do it with Dom again. I am 100% in on that.
Well, and listen, here's the thing, right? I think that this is something that he and WWE are choosing to do. Because if I'm not mistaken, if you do the math, this does not fit with his dates on his counter. I think that's why we don't get the counter anymore, because it doesn't fit with the dates anymore. We did this math at a few episodes back, right? If you do the math for all the dates that are left on the calendar, his last match, which is at Saturday Night's Main Event, right, would have been one. That would have been one date left. We were like, he can't make a certain amount of appearances.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm with you because maybe this is me Mandela affecting myself,
Sure.
but I distinctly remember, I have a memory of the Boston Raw being advertised as his last Raw.
Yeah.
And then I remember that. And then he's also on Raw this week, which is now his last Raw. So you're right. Maybe they added this little 2 appearance Dom thing to it.
Yeah. I
But
feel like they
if
had
any
to
of
have
our
added dates.
listeners can show me I'm Mandela affecting and that was never his last Raw, or can show me that Boston was originally advertised as his last Raw, like I swear it was, I'd like to see that.
They were literally talking about it. We were literally talking about it last week about how Dom made history because he was the last person to compete against Cena on Raw. And now he's competing against Cena again in this 6-man tag match, right? And listen, I get that part. And I agree to 1,000%.
Or well, Dom's not Cena's in the 6-man tag. Dom's got a match with Cena back for his title at Survivor Series.
Right,
they set that up.
But what I'm saying is they had this impromptu match.
Yes.
On Raw, right? His last Raw was supposed to be last week.
That's what I thought too. And then I saw him start talking about on social media. I saw John keep saying stuff like, "Oh, my favorite match is my next one, and can't wait to see who I wrestle this Monday at Madison Square Garden." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
And then sure enough, he came out and we get an impromptu 6-man with the Judgment Day after Dom and Cena set up their IC title rematch. They do another great battle on the mic. I love that, but Cena gets to go out in kind of the classic babyface house show match almost against the Judgment Day, Finn, JD, and Dom, and Cena teams with his good friends Rey Mysterio and Sheamus. I believe him and Rey have been friends a good time, and since Sheamus came up, has been a good workout buddy of John. So that was fun, and we get all the the fun spots like we alluded to earlier. They hit the 15 knuckle shuffle, and Rey and Sheamus join in, and then they get the heels over the ropes, and everyone does the 10 beats of the Bowdrin. I wonder how they drew short straws to see who got the Sheamus ones, because those were probably delivered a little more forcefully than the John Cena punches.
Sure.
So yeah, Finn may have drawn the short straw there, and just a fun match. I thought for a second I was in the moment, and when Rey put Finn and JD, I think it was, both on the ropes, I was like, is John Cena about to hit a 619 here? But that did not happen. But just a fun match to send him out.
I agree. And listen, if you're listening to this podcast, you're never going to be able to hear that statement that Skeens made correctly ever again. That Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Sheamus were in the ring and they did a 15 knuckle shuffle. The second you said it, I was like, "Oh, pause." It hits different now. It hits different now, and I will never be able to get that out of my head now. It's like I see it in the ring, got it. He's doing his move, right? 5 knuckle shuffle. But when I hear it spoken back like you just did, I'm like, okay, all right, 3 guys in the ring. 15 knuckle shuffle.
I feel like at this point the move has far transcended the euphemism.
Oh, it has,
and that it is much more associated with wrestling now than anything else.
Oh, listen, again, I totally agree.
I'm not British, so if we have any British listeners that want to weigh in on the 5 knuckle shuffle debate, we would love to hear it.
Listen, I agree. If you're British or if you're like me, who just learned this yesterday. Like if you literally just learned this yesterday, yeah, it's gonna be top of mind. And that's what I think of now when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's I get it. It's a joke. Got it. But listen, it was a great match. It was great. You know what I thought was also really great? The
But
two John Cena last time is now matches to get into the tournament. I think these were the last what? These last two qualifiers, right? The one we got on SmackDown and the
no,
one we got on
we
Raw.
have two more first round matches this Friday on SmackDown.
Okay, but these two matches were qualifiers. That makes
They were
sense.
first round matches. They
Okay,
were the
well,
round of 16
yeah, not
matches.
for qualifiers, but yes, first round matches. So we got two returning talents in both the SmackDown match last Friday and the Raw match this past Monday. If you were watching I'm going to start with the Raw one and then I'm going to go backwards to SmackDown. On Raw,
Okay.
we got freaking Dolph Ziggler in the match against Solo Sikoa. And let me tell you something. The crowd at MSG lost it. And honestly, I did not realize how much I actually missed Dolph Ziggler until his music hit. And then I was like, I miss Dolph. Like at WWE, I feel like kind of has done him a little dirty, but I miss him. And it was nice seeing him back in a WWE ring. And listen, Dolph's music still goes hard to me. Always has. But Dolph came back. The second return, or the first return, that happened on Friday was none other than Matt Cardona. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm getting a message here. Oh, wait, Matt Cardona did not come back Friday.
He did
Okay.
not.
Zack Ryder returned on Friday. Okay. Bit of a misstep there, WWE, but I mean, what do I know? I just watched your show. It was nice to see him in the ring, but Skeeter, bro, I cannot tell a lie, dude. I was sorely dishonored. I was sorely what else about to say? I was sorely why is this word escaping me right now? I was disappointed. I was very disappointed that he came out to the woo woo woo, you know it, and he was Zack Ryder again. Like, holy smokes, Batman. How much time has he spent on the indies building up Matt Cardona, right? Building up this persona that is leagues better than Zack Ryder was ever allowed to be. You know what I mean? The idea that they were going to bring him back, that he was going to come in and as Matt Cardona was really intriguing to me. And so when I heard Zack Ryder's music, I let out a groan, an audible groan, because I felt like, damn, WWE, you had a golden opportunity here and you nosed it right up for my British fans out there. You nosed this up. And it took all of the bite away from this for me. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts, Skeeter, on Zack Ryder showing up instead of Matt Cardona and the awesomeness that was seeing Dolph Ziggler back in a WWE ring.
So for the Zack Ryder return, all credit to Matt Cardona for doing what he has done on the independent scene and making a life outside of WWE. I know he is one of the premier talents on the indie scene. That said, I go completely the other way. I am glad we hit the Zack Ryder music so I could know who this was and I could get a little nostalgia thing, and I have to trust WWE to know that they think they probably have, things to back up that Zack Ryder returning gets a better reaction than Matt Cardona. And if he's not going to stick around, then he should probably show up as Zack Ryder. If Kevin Nash can come out in the Rumble as Diesel, I think Matt Cardona can do a Zack Ryder appearance. And yeah, it was fine. I was not salivating over Matt Cardona's return, so maybe that's where we differ. Ziggler was a great surprise. I did not expect that at all.
Me either.
I kind of expected the Zack Ryder thing.
I
Not
did too.
exactly there, but I thought he was one of the surprises that we were going to get. But Ziggler was kind of out of the blue, and he looked great, as always. They got me one time because I thought, like, when you see Dolph Ziggler and it's solo, I'm like, okay, this is the one where they could pull the guy that doesn't work here moves on to the second round. I think he hit a zigzag
Yeah.
for like a 2.9. I thought that was it, but it was great. I think Solo came out looking good. Dolph bumped around for him like only Dolph can. I think he did an Irish whip and threw him into the turnbuckle, and Dolph just hurled himself into a chest caving bump in
Yeah.
the corner, I think. And I saw online Dolph had some pretty high praise for Solo after the match, and that yeah, I liked it. They're good for what it was. And I'm excited to see who this. I think we've got one more surprise coming on Friday, and interested to see who it was. My money right now is on Joe Hendry, but we will see.
Well, seeing as how you said his name is probably going to be Joe Hendry. But no, listen,
Oh, wait. No, maybe we don't have. Maybe that was the last surprise because we've got Penta and Finn Balor on Friday, and Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed. So those were the two surprises.
okay, that's what
So I guess it surprises me that Joe Hendry was not a surprise.
Yeah, well,
Honestly.
listen, last week we were talking about this. I wasn't so sure that Joe Hendry was going to be in it. I wasn't so sure he was going to be in this thing. I heard his name, but I definitely heard Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona at the time. God, that bugs me still. But yeah, I was hoping that the other one was going to be Jericho. But I was pretty sure that Matt Cardona / Zack Ryder was going to be in this. But Joe Hendry, I wasn't too sure. But
Jericho is coming back for that big fat Saudi check at the
yeah,
Royal Rumble.
that upsets me so bad. Not that he's coming back. Just that it's on the Saudi show. That anyway. That's.
But at least for him, that was his last one.
What do you mean?
It's like he never left. They don't even have to reference that he did anything. He's just taken a 5-year, or not 5, a 7-year hiatus, a vacation in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, and he's just been there the whole time.
In Riyadh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure. You know what, WWE, go for it.
That's my lore.
Go for it, WWE. I think you should.
Because I certainly am not going to remember some of the other stuff he's done involving a pizza cutter and various other implements, but not to digress.
You're not going to remember El Campeon?
That was fine. It's more the pizza cutter.
Yeah, I don't know anything about a pizza cutter, but maybe I don't need to know.
Oh, well, yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother. Yeah, but listen, I'm with you, except for the whole I needed to see a nostalgia pop for Zack Ryder. Listen, I think the analogy that you gave of Diesel
so I want to say Diesel, this: I didn't need to see it, but I would have. But I preferred Zack Ryder over Matt Cardona. But that's just my personal.
You know what? And my thing is this. I think the reason why it bothered me so much is not necessarily because I needed Matt Cardona over Zack Ryder or Zack Ryder over Matt Cardona. I felt like it was supremely disrespectful to the man. Okay. You all never, ever, come on, Jericho, come back. You all never really gave a damn about Zack Ryder when he was here. Like, he was enhancement talent at best, right? You let him go unceremoniously. He goes onto the indie scene and really makes a name for himself. He really wins fans over. Not in a way that he was when he was in WWE. He won them over with a character he designed being himself with his own name. And then you bring him back and you're like, yeah, nah, you can't use any of that. You got to go back to the same failed character we gave you, right? But like, You let Cody Rhodes come back as Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, but but we know why Cody Rhodes gets to be Cody Rhodes and Zack Ryder doesn't get to be Matt Cardona.
I mean, listen, they could have told him he couldn't come back with Kingdom.
They could have,
but they didn't. But they didn't.
No, because Matt Cardona ain't Cody Rhodes.
Listen, look, Zack Ryder could have come back as Zack Ryder and not been Zack Ryder, if you follow me. Like, Drew McIntyre left as part of freaking 3MB, right? When he came back, he wasn't still a member of 3MB. He wasn't even the same Drew McIntyre he was when he left. He got to be something different. Even if you keep the same name, right? You get to be something different. Why does this guy go out and make a name for himself and then you bring him back as Zack Ryder, the same? I like to sing with the radio. Nobody listens to radio anymore. Like, what? This is so dated. And it's so bad. He was such a shit character. I'm sorry. Zack Ryder, the Long Island IZ, like, that was a shit character. It was a character of the times. It was a shit character. And by the time his run ended with WWE, he was already dated, right? Like, nobody cared about Jersey Shore anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so for him to go and do all the work he did on the indies to make a name for himself and be such a commodity that he is, and then you bring him back on the night his wife, his wife won the U.S. Championship Friday before.
Yeah.
But
correct.
You bring him back on the heels of his wife winning the U.S. Championship again, and he's back as Zack freaking Ryder. Listen, I'm going to say this. For Matt Cardona's sake, I hope this was a one-off. For his sake, I hope this was a one-off. If this is a one-off, sir, and you got to cash in a fat WWE check to come back and do a match against LA Knight in John Cena's farewell tournament, good on you. Make your bag.
Yeah, that's probably what he did.
You know what I'm saying? And do your thing. I just think that it's mad whack that I'm busting out, 2000s terms, kids. I think it's mad whack that WWE, for this one-off, would not let him come back as Matt Cardona. I think that's just lame. Like, you could do the man a solid. If it's a one-off, it's a one-night thing, right? You could do this man a solid, let him come back under the persona that he's crafted for himself, right? And then carry that into whatever he does in his future endeavors. But you know,
I think most of it's just about getting the pop and saying, oh, look who's back.
You don't think he would have got a pop if he came back as Matt Cardona? Like, people wouldn't know that was Zack Ryder?
Once they saw him, but I think the music helps. I think less people would have known Matt Cardona than Zack Ryder. And I think that's almost like inarguable. Because everyone that knows Matt Cardona Zack Ryder.
Yeah, and I guess I can get where you're saying the logic base, because the flip side can be true as well, that not everybody who knows Zack Ryder knows Matt Cardona. But at the very same time, though, I do feel like when a return happens, yes, there is a familiarity with the theme music that really makes things work, right? But I think that familiarity with the theme music has to come with the character that people care about. That's why it worked for Dolph. When his music hit, I'm here to show. When that hit, it worked because people care about Dolph Ziggler. Like, people like Dolph Ziggler. When he left the company, right? He was not left the company, quote unquote, right? When he left the company, he was not a character that the fans didn't like. He was just a character that WWE did not put anything really behind, right? Zack Ryder was not a beloved character when he left. I think if you...
People pretended.
That they liked him?
Yeah.
Because he was...
If you were on the internet in like 2012, 2013, people pretended they really cared about Zack Ryder.
You know what? I think he fell into the same category in my mind as 2013 R-Truth. I think there were a lot of people who pretended they liked these people. And I think that R-Truth has gained
way more people liked R-Truth, I think.
Hold on now.
That's why.
I don't think that's the case. I think that R-Truth has gained what he has now over time he's been here forever. He never left. I think he has grown in adoration with the WWE universe because they love R-Truth. He is the statesman. He is, you know what I'm saying? He's the guy who's been here. And he knows his role. He plays it well. You know what I'm saying? And people love him for that. But I think back 2013, R-Truth, he was in the same boat as Long Island IZ, bro. Like, people loved him. They liked him. But they liked him because, he's a lovable guy who's confused all the time and raps and does splits. Not because they genuinely have an appreciation for R-Truth. That was not the case in 2013. He fit in the same boat as Fandango. He fit in the same boat as Zack Ryder. Like, there's a tier that these wrestlers were in. And I feel like he was in it. You know who's in that tier?
Matt Cardona has never done anything as great as the Fashion Police. So,
well, Matt Cardona's never been in WWE.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be, apparently.
Apparently not. Apparently,
look,
apparently
if
not.
they want to bring him back, I'll allow it on the basis that Chelsea gets to have her piece on the road with her.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
That's the angle I'll take.
I'll say it like this: if he decides, first of all, let's just get this perfectly clear. Our opinions mean nothing. Okay, if the man is happy doing what he's doing, then he's happy doing what he's doing. Like, we're commenting on this because we're fans and this is what we do. But if he's happy doing what he's doing, who cares what we think? But if he decides he wants to come back to WWE and he wants to be Zack Ryder and he gets to, spend time with his wife and travel with his wife and stuff like that. And look, maybe they put Zack in a position where he can do some things that are different instead of being like the Jersey Shore knockoff dude. Right? Okay. Then you can do some reinvention. Maybe we get Zack Ryder come back as this. And I was thinking this during his match with LA Knight. If he came back as Zack Ryder and then we get some more story stuff with him afterwards and then he evolves, right, into the character of Matt Cardona, but he's Zack Ryder because that's the name that WWE owns, right? Then, okay.
That's what I think would be likely. I don't think he necessarily played up the woo 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 that much other than the kind of the song, and maybe he did it before one of the moves. I don't remember.
Yeah, he definitely did it in his intro, but I mean, I get that part. Listen, he has room to evolve, and WWE, if they will allow it, I would love to see it because I want, and maybe I'm just an underdog dude, you know what I'm saying? But like, I love when people leave the company when they bet on themselves and they win big, right? I brought up Cody before, but I'm certainly not hating on Cody. You know what I mean? I love and appreciate what Cody did for himself. And the fact that he gets to come in and make these references all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in his little promo stuff for 42, right? He was like, I've been in bets, I've been all in, and wait, I see what you did there. He makes these little references all the time. And I love the fact that they allow him to do that, right? It just hit me different when I saw Zack Ryder come out because I was so anticipating Matt Cardona. And not just because I think Matt Cardona is the greatest thing ever. I can just appreciate the man's grind. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate what he's done to build himself up in a way that WWE never did for him. And, it just bugged me because I was like, way to put him back in the box. You know what I mean? But like we said, if he's here for one night only and he's here to get that bag that WWE's going to give to him because this event is happening, do your thing, bro. And if you decided to do this on your own and be Zack Ryder because it suits what you're trying to do, who am I as a man to tell another man, you know what I'm saying, how he should live and operate in his profession? So it was a fun match. I definitely found more enjoyment personally watching Ziggler versus Solo because I am a zigzag. I am a Ziggler fan. But it was nice to see. I realized, however, that after we saw Zack Ryder lose to LA Knight, no wait, Zack Ryder and Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler. They're the only two people that have showed up that were not a part of the company technically, because there was only two.
I'm forgetting something.
I don't think we are, but part of me feels like I am. I don't know why, but I guess I just had this feeling after I watched Zack Ryder lose that like, okay, they're not going to let any of these people who are not part of their real roster take one of these spots. But you know, it is what it is. I thought the matches were great. I had fun with them, and I genuinely hope that if Zack stays around, we see more of him and they do some cool stuff with him. And honestly, TNA is owned by WWE now. I hope we get to see more Ziggler. I was hoping we got to see like an interaction between Ziggler and AJ or even Big E backstage.
Yeah.
That would have been great. That would have been great.
Or AJ. Think about AJ.
Well, that's what I said.
Dolph.
That's what I said. Dolph or AJ or Big E.
Oh, for some reason I was thinking you meant AJ Styles.
Oh yeah, no. AJ
second.
Lee. Yeah, no. AJ
Yeah,
Lee.
I don't know why I went there, but
yeah, that's what I was hoping for so bad.
yeah, no, you're right. That makes sense.
I would have loved to seen either one or two of them interact or all three. Like AJ's back there with Maxine. I swear I thought that was going to happen. Right when AJ was backstage with Maxine, I thought that like AJ was going to turn around and Dolph was going to be there, and you get this awkward interaction between them. That would
have been interesting.
That would have been really fun.
Yeah, but we've got two other matches happened. Jay defeats The Miz.
Yes, he did
on SmackDown.
Yes, he did. Fans were happy about that.
Yep, good match. People online continue to hate Jey Uso very, very much.
Yes, they do.
But thought it was a good match. I mean, I didn't expect this one to be, a classic because I don't think either of these men were going to go out there and, go 100 miles an hour. But good match, very, very fine. Did what it needed to do. Interested to see how far we go with Jay in this tournament and who he faces next. Because right now, I could see a Gunther and Jay final and running that back.
I really wish we could.
But we'll see. Bronson Reed's out there too. Yeah, that's the thing. I think they showed a very incomplete one the very first time they revealed people, and then we've never seen it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google that later because I really would just like to see a bracket. I feel like that's what this tournament is missing, right? Like WWE missed an opportunity here. They could have put a bracket up on WWE.com for people to download, like and people could track it like the Final Four.
So it seems like the quarterfinals matches that we have set are Solo will face the winner of Penta and Finn Balor.
Okay.
Gunther, who we'll talk about that match in a second. Gunther will face the winner of Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed. Then it's LA Knight and Jey Uso and Rusev and Sheamus.
Okay.
So we get that Rusev-Sheamus match again.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay. Oh, wait.
But yeah, going back.
Oh, did you find a bracket?
It's not in bracket form.
Oh, okay.
I found it in text form.
Because I just found one. Somebody made one.
Oh, did you? Oh, well, yeah. It was made for us. It wasn't produced by WWE like we were hoping.
Yeah, no. Somebody made it. Yep. So, we got Sheamus and Rusev. Yep. Jay and LA Knight. Yeah. I've seen that before. Solo is advanced. Yeah, advanced. And then we got with Penta and Finn and Carmelo and Bronson Reed. So obviously, I think we're going to get Gunther versus Bronson Reed. Because, I mean, that sucks. I mean, listen, that the match doesn't suck, but it sucks that Carmelo is going to get dunked on in the first round. Like, I hate that for him. Like, I genuinely like Carmelo Hayes, and it stinks to me that he seems to be relegated to mid-tier on the main roster. But
he's he's another one. I don't know fully how much where the blame lies. He's had these, tangent involvements in these things, and they gave him the Miz thing. Maybe they're just not seeing what they need to see from him.
Yeah,
I don't know, because he seemed like when he was in NXT, he seemed like he was going to be a guy. And he still has time to do that. I mean, he's a young guy. It's early in his career. Everyone doesn't automatically take off right away in the wrestling business. So, yeah, I'm not betting a lot on his prospects for success on Friday.
No, I know. I definitely feel like with all of the juice you put behind the vision thus far, and Bronson Reed specifically.
But
There's no
here's the
way.
thing: Bronson Reed he was in this Carmelo Hayes position not long ago. Like he's a guy that got fired and had to come back and has found himself and
Yeah.
is a younger guy. And now he's the dominant force that Carmelo Hayes isn't going to overcome. And, I'm not saying I hope Carmelo Hayes gets fired and has to come back, but there's time for things to change, wholesale in a few months, or you can change that perception. But you're right, it's not Carmelo Hayes is not viewed that way right now.
Right. Well, listen, I definitely feel like we're probably going to get Penta going over Finn. Love some Balor, but they're not doing a whole lot with Finn right now. So I think they're probably going to put Penta over Finn, which is going to bring us to Solo versus Penta, which we've seen this before as well, right? And then we're going to probably have Bronson Reed versus Gunther. That's going to be a crazy match. I'm just looking at...
And we got a crazy one on Monday. Javon, we haven't talked about this yet. Javon Evans and Gunther. And we had the return of Gunther's old theme music.
I'm not a fan.
Really?
Not a fan. Listen, I like it, but not after his main roster music. I love his main roster music. It sounds more imposing. I did too.
I just kind of see. I think this fits a little better because it's just the juxtaposition, I guess, of his imposing character and the classical music. I think fits. It does a little more for me. It seemed like people reacted to it well, and I think it was a signal of maybe we're going to turn up the ass kicking even a little more with Gunther.
You think?
I think.
I didn't see any more ass kickery happening in this Javon Evans match than I've seen in any
it's not
Gunther
like
match.
he ever turned it down,
right?
But I don't think they did that for nothing.
I think maybe, and listen, I'm sure they have a plan.
Well, I don't think he's given any Ric Flair matches to announcers anymore. I'll say that.
Yeah. Listen, I guess I just feel like that music fit him. And listen, I am not particularly a fan of Rusev's music. I don't.
No, his sucks. He needs his old theme back.
But here's the thing. I think that WWE don't do this. Like, I don't like when you take these European characters and give them such culturally appropriate music. I don't listen. I know that he's from Austria, but when I heard him in his original music come out, it just made me think so much of Walter. And I don't dislike Walter, but Walter to me was definitely a product of NXT UK and definitely a product of the European wrestling scene, right?
Walter had like 100 extra pounds, so
he did. But I'm just saying that, like, it was different. I'm just saying it was what was his music different?
No,
that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, this is yeah. No, I know what you mean, but I don't see that as much.
I mean, I'm saying that I just felt like his new music or his newer music, because it's not his music anymore, but I just thought that it fit how dominating his presence was. And I don't know. I was legit waiting for it when he came out. And when it didn't happen and I heard this, I was like, huh. And then when he came out with that semi-shiny robe on, I was kind of like, huh. Like, where's the jacket? I missed the jacket. I don't know. It takes some getting used to, but it's fine.
Yeah, I have the complete opposite opinion. I think it enhances him more than it hurts.
Okay.
Because I think it gives an edge on, like I said, that juxtaposition of that theme with that guy. I think that worked well.
Well, you know what's something I think that probably did not work too well? Nikki Bella attacking Stephanie Vaquer from behind in Vaquer's entrance. I get it. I think that Nikki is a way better heel than she is a face. So, that works for me. I guess I just wish I would have gotten a little something different. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't the best. But see, I want Nikki. First of all, Nikki needs to stick to the heel turn, her heel turn look, right? You stripped off that red for black last week. I expect you to be in black every week. That's your thing now. But you came out with a red top on. I was like, see, continuity errors right here. Yeah, like WWE do better. But this was fine. We're getting them at Survivor Series. Certainly don't see that belt coming off of Stephanie, not to Nikki. Is Survivor Series, that's not this weekend, right? It's next weekend?
It's next weekend.
Okay, so we got a whole nother week of wrestling to get through before we get to. Okay, your thoughts on this?
It's fine. I didn't think either way. I wasn't overly disappointed. I wasn't overly excited about it. It just kind of next step in the feud. I thought it was okay. I thought Nikki was okay with her brief promo after. The more entertaining thing to me was I was texting one of my buddies during this segment we were watching the show. I said, there's probably at least one guy in that arena that paid good money to be there, and Stephanie Vaquer walks out in pants and not her ring gear. And there was one guy out there that was like, why did I even come?
You know what? And it's
or lady. It doesn't have to be a guy.
Listen, and
but
it would be
someone
doubly
there
bad.
Was sorely disappointed.
It would be doubly bad if that person was the person that was sitting in the seats that's behind and above the entryway, because they didn't even get to see her in person because she got knocked down at the entrance and never got to the ring. If that was your one time that you thought you were going to see Stephanie Vaquer, you left sorely disappointed.
Yeah.
Sorely disappointed. I tell you what was
I entertained myself more than the segment entertained me, I guess, is what I will say.
I tell you what, Jade Cargill did not disappoint me on Friday. That match was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, which is good.
Yes.
Which is good. That's what we needed it to be.
Yes, we needed Jade to just assert her dominance over B-Fab and beat the brakes off of her. And she absolutely did that. And it's exactly what we said last week. What we're going to get next is Jade and Meechin. He's going to get Jade and Meechin, and I hope that Jade does the exact same thing. Put a lot of butts
in seats.
Listen, all you need is to see Jade whoop. Listen, everybody showed up to watch Goldberg destroy No Names. All I'm saying, WWE, Goldberg's retired. That spot is open. It's vacant. Give it to Jade. Let Jade be that dominating China-style female of the women's division, right? Let her just run roughshod over the division, point blank, period. People will pay to see that. People will pay to see Jade run over people. And listen, I do feel like Jade does way better in this role than she does trying to play nice.
For sure.
You know what I mean? She does way better in this role where she is boss bitch, where she is pointing her finger at folks, where she's yelling. You know what I'm saying? That interaction with her and B-Fab last week, or not last week, the week before. Excellent. Excellent. You have that commanding presence. You're definitely stronger than almost every woman in the locker room, right? And now you're champion. And listen, don't let the woman put on 6-inch heels. Now she's a monster. And yeah, let her walk around the back like she freaking owns the place and your rents do. And you know what I mean? And let her just do whatever she wants to do. Meechin will be up here next week, and let's let her bull in a china shop Meechin next week, so that whenever a real challenger steps up to her, Jade's head should be as big as a blimp. You know what I'm saying? Her head should be astronomically huge, and she should have a chip on her shoulder that she is daring somebody to try and knock off. And then let the person who's challenging her be a credible challenge, but not take the title off of her. Establish Jade as that chick in the division, and let her be this character, because it works. And whenever you bring back Bianca, whenever her finger is healed, that's a perfect foil for her, because they have history, and Bianca is the consummate good girl. You know what I mean? And Jade's now flipped the script, and now she is the bad bitch on the block. And have these two go head to head. That's what I would love to see. And Jade's just better in this role in general. But your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. I don't think there's much else to add. It's not like it was a a Matt classic. But yeah, I hope that eventually where we're going is Jade and Bianca. And it would be good to see. I don't these this Bianca injury has just been strange because they brought her back for that Raw in Knoxville a while back, and we obviously talk about her showing up at the Saudi thing, but just it's been radio silence otherwise. So
At this point, I
again,
mean, you hold her off until the
this
Rumble.
scene, that's what I'm thinking and worried about. But this scene still sorely needs something. We can get 2-3 weeks out of Jade running through Michin and BFAB, and then we're back to the same situation we complained about for weeks on end, which is what are we doing here and who are we doing it with?
Yeah. Listen, this is why, like I said before, and this is nothing new, the brand split needs to go away, right? Because you remove the brand split and you have so many more options for people. You really do. Like you can get through these. And look, Tiffany Stratton is taking a little sabbatical, and that's good. She needs to be away from the camera for a little bit. So when she comes back, people will pop and they'll care more. But currently, Charlotte and Alexa are not the champions, and there's been a little bit of division sown between the two of them. And WWE has already said that they will allow these wrestlers to wrestle for singles titles while being tag champs. So we could definitely get a Charlotte program here. And look, remove the brand split, and then we can get Jade and we can get Rhea, or Jade and Io, or Jade and Lash. Like,
I think Lash is technically on SmackDown.
She is on SmackDown, but she's in the tag team right now. But if they let these characters do what Charlotte and Alexa do, you know what I mean?
Hug?
Well, listen, I would love to see a hug between Jade and Lash. I think the inner
but see, you wouldn't have the size disparity that made it great with Charlotte and Alexa and Rhea and Io.
No, but
because those are two imposing ladies.
You got two specimens there giving each other a nice hug. Yeah, I'm all here for it, all the way here for it. But she's got plenty of people to wrestle. They just got to put them in the ring with her. You know what I'm saying? They got plenty of people to wrestle. They just got to put them in the ring. And like we said, if you get rid of the idea that if you're in a tag team, you can't wrestle singles matches, you got plenty of people to work with. At least enough. You got enough people to work with because the women's division can be scant at times. So, allowing them to wrestle a tag and singles works best. But I wasn't disappointed by this. Like, let Jade do what Jade does, and that works wonders for me. I feel like we got one last thing to talk about from Friday, which it kind of led into what happened Monday, but this was Paul making his little master stroke play and bringing Drew back from suspension because he was supposed to be going to film a movie, right? Dirt Sheets, I think that's what they said.
Allegedly, yes.
That was a short shoot.
Which he will be in the Highlander movie, but he was not written off TV for very long.
Yeah, maybe this was a call. Maybe they're not shooting the movie just yet. Maybe they're not. They haven't started. Principal photography yet. I have no idea, but whatever the case may be, no, Drew is here, guys. He's here, and we got what, a week, 2 weeks until Survivor Series.
2 SmackDowns and 1 Raw.
So yeah, I mean, listen, I think we'll get some more Drew. Drew's here, and he's.
I will say, I forgot to say this earlier. So yeah, they opened up Raw, or maybe it wasn't the first thing, but we know how we open up every show with the arrivals and the walking through backstage and the everyone coming into the arena, and they did it with the Vision. And they were like trying to keep Drew as like they were going to do Drew walks into frame, he's here with him too. But there's a shot where you can see they pull up in this big SUV, and Paul gets out, and Logan gets out, and then Bronson and Braun. But it was just funny to me that Drew is obviously in the third row of this, the third row seats here. And he's so big, and he's just like struggling to shimmy through these seats and get out of the car. And they're trying to hide it, but you see that in the background, and it just made me laugh. And
I
and also Tala Tonga and Solo just came they came in on the freight elevator, which is interesting, but I guess Tala Tonga's so big that's the only way they can get
that's
him
the only
in.
way they can get him in the arena, bro.
Yep.
They don't build these arenas to let trucks in.
Yep. They ran out of ways to get people in and they just came off the freight elevator.
Hey, look, I bet it looked cool though.
It did.
I bet it looked cool though, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Like you listen, man. Like I said, this was, in my opinion, a strong week of wrestling. Even when I look back at SmackDown, SmackDown was not bad. Like
Yeah, it's not
SmackDown
bad.
was
They're
not
fun
bad
shows
at
to
all.
watch.
Look, this was a better SmackDown than I think the last few weeks has been. I mean, I'm looking at this match, the matches, right? You had the interaction with Charlotte and Alexa and Io and
Good.
Rhea at the
Yeah.
top of the show, right? Then you had Jay and Miz,
Good.
not bad. Then you had Ilya and Axiom, not bad. You had this the little segment with Sami Zayn, and Shinsuke and Ray and the Motor City Machine Guns, which that's kind of a miss.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We got a it's next week on SmackDown, right? We have the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match on SmackDown,
Yep.
which is what it is. Why can't you do it on the PLE? But that's fine. I like the traditional 5 versus 5.
Yeah, it's fine. I think it obviously has been supplanted by the War Games matches. And honestly, if we get 2 War Games matches on that card, I don't want a traditional 5-on-5 match also on that card. Like,
well, true.
That's too much. But you could have done this maybe the Friday before. Friday Night SmackDown. I mean, not Friday, but Survivor Series.
Isn't that what they're doing into next week? I don't think it's this week.
Oh, well, I mean, they announced this last Friday. So unless this interaction with the 5-on-5 groups, right, happened last Friday, and then they announced that they're going to do this traditional match 2 weeks from now.
It is. I promise you it is.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it is the Friday before, but still, it's not on Survivor Series.
Well, I mean, honestly, that to me is a good.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine, but that's where all those guys are at.
Yeah. Oh, and listen, hey, look, at least they're doing something. It's going to take a significant portion of their program. So, at least they're doing something on that go home before Survivor Series. But that wasn't too bad. And then you had the Zack Ryder, LA Knight, not bad. Jade and B-Fab, not bad at all. And then you had Cody Rhodes defending his championship against Bronson Reed, which not a bad match.
Yes, an impromptu title match. Yeah, obviously don't get a finish.
No,
we lead into the Drew appearing, but yeah.
All in all,
it was solid.
They
don't drag like they used to now. If SmackDown was still 3 hours, we'd probably have an issue, but it's not, thankfully.
Yeah, listen, that was a mistake that I'm glad they have rectified.
That was an interesting time. I mean, I'm sure it's because they had a contract to put a 3-hour show on the USA Network, and when they moved Raw off, they needed to bump SmackDown there up to 3 hours or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted to, or maybe it was like an experiment. Like, hey, we'd still like 3 hours worth of ad revenue from USA and stuff. So, or whatever. Or we'd still like to see if we could do a 3-hour show on USA even after we move Raw to Netflix. But yeah, that was a rough time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad we are no longer in those times anymore. Like the 3-hour show, that was rough.
3-hour SmackDown was tough. Especially at SmackDown now. Had we done 3 hours when SmackDown was the show, like at the height of the Bloodline stuff, probably could have done it. But
I thought that it was better when it was 2.
Or maybe we wouldn't think of those SmackDowns as that good if it was 3 hours. So
maybe
3 hours is a lot for a weekly
it's a
show.
lot.
It just is.
I
think Raw on Netflix is perfect. They can go about 2.5. They can go a little under if they don't need to. They can go a little longer if they have interesting stuff. But yeah, 3 hours just got always too much, I think, for an every week thing.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. And look, I think it just is a better, more concise show. You know what I mean? And SmackDown is better for it, like you said now, because they're not hitting the way they used to And so having less time just allows them to be a bit more strategic in how they use that time and make the storylines fit a little bit better and a little tighter. So,
Yeah, because imagine if that Jade and BFAB match had to be 15 minutes
you know what?
because he had 3 hours to
You
fill.
know what I'm scared of is that if it was 3 hours, we'd get more Wyatt 6. Like this is just enough time for them to be like.
You think they'd show up in the background to 2 segments instead of one?
No, I think we'd have to watch them wrestle.
I don't think
I think that's worse.
Look, at least they're sticking to that part of Bray's gimmick. If they're gonna do it, at least do the not wrestling part too.
But Bray gave us so much more. He gave us Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's on the same thing, but if they're taking it, at least do that part too.
I want them to do that part because it's less that I got to watch them.
Correct.
And, that's a benefit every time I don't have to see the Wyatt. It sucks. It sucks.
You don't even have to see them now if you're not paying attention.
True.
They're like, if you just want to, if you just like, anytime there's a backstage segment, if you just look away as soon as everyone's done talking, before the camera pans to whichever Wyatt Six member is creeping in the background, you won't have to see them.
No, you're right. It sucks that the Wyatt Six have made me feel kind of meh about Shatter. Like,
yeah, I know, because that song was awesome.
It was awesome.
I remember when it first dropped and he came back. That was on repeat on Spotify for me.
I definitely pulled it up on Spotify a couple times,
and it still might be if it hadn't been almost ruined, but it is what it is.
Yeah, they just did. Yeah, it's a shame what they've done to that song, but whatever, man. Let the man rest in peace. Like, let's move on from this. But listen, I don't want anyone to move on from this podcast. Even though, we have to wrap up each week and we come back each week, I don't want you to leave. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we give you way more than the Wyatt Six does. Okay? We give you substance. We give you real characters here. We give you smart takes and hard hits and real talk because that's what we are committed to doing. As long as WWE shows up, we'll show up here too. Skeener, please let our friends know where they can check us out, where they can interact with us, and where they can leave us a great like rating if you're loving what we're doing here.
The Lariat Lounge podcast is coming at you once a week, every week on all your favorite podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. We're there. We're over on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge podcast. You can always feel free to interact with us. Hit up the inbox there. And please, if you are a British listener or are familiar with British slang, please send us an email. Weigh in on the five knuckle shuffle usage and how you feel when you hear that on WWE program. Send us an email at the Lariat Lounge at gmail.com.
I know y'all are listening because I checked the analytics, and I know we got listeners over in the UK. So please let us know what
we don't know exactly who you are, but we can find out if we need to.
Listen, the internet's a vast place. They have avenues of doing these things. I don't want to have to do it. There's easy ways to do it, right? You can just send an email or you can reach out to the socials or something like that. But I don't want to have to do it, but I can. But I won't. But I could. But I'm not. So reach out. Let us know something. Please. Skeener, before we go, what is your big takeaway from this week in wrestling from Friday to Monday? I knew that.
Yep. You say you set them up, I'll lay them down, brother.
Fair enough. I walked into that one. For me, I think, honestly, as much as I loved seeing Ziggler back, which I genuinely did, I'm going to have to give this one this week to one Maxine Dupree. That to me was legitimately a moment where I was watching this match and I had that moment, Skeener, that every wrestling fan has where you get maybe like a minute and a half before the match ends and you're like, oh, I think they're going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're going to do it. And then when AJ's music hit, first of all, love me some AJ. So it's always great to see her back, right? And listen, AJ Lee's skip to me is hypnotic. Like, I watch her skip and it immediately just takes me back like a decade. And I love everything about AJ Lee. But when AJ came out And I was like, okay, wait a minute. Let's do the math. AJ's going to show up. Becky's going to get distracted. She's going to turn around. Maxine's going to do something. This is too big of a spot and too big of an arena with too many things that have happened tonight. I think they're going to do it. And then when she got the 3, I had a genuine fan pop. Genuine fan pop. She rolled out the ring, was so excited in the rampway. I was like, oh, baby, go back and get your title. You know you just won, right? Like, go back and get it. You won. Like, they had to bring it to her. She was so excited she forgot to get the title. And I was like, that's obviously easily my moment of the week. So, big up to Maxine. I think you earned it. I think you deserve it. And I'm anxious to see what you and WWE do with your Women's Intercontinental Championship run. So that wraps up another great week of wrestling, folks. I'm glad that you all came out and hung out with us here in the lounge. I need everybody at the bar to finish your drinks. I'm not playing closing time tonight. I just need you to go ahead and wrap up them old fashions, okay? Go ahead and take your last sips. Call yourself an Uber or a Lyft. Find yourself a safe way to get home. And show back up here next week because Skeena gives you the directions at the start and the bottom of the show on how to get back here. So come back. Come back and check us out next week. We'd love to have you here in the lounge. From your host, Everson Godfrey, and your co-host, Andrew Skeens, this has been another edition of the Lariat Lounge. Please watch yourself on the way out.